Alright, so we're talking about linear function rules, and so we talked about matching a linear rule with its graph, and so now we're going to talk about looking at just the function rules themselves. And so our linear function rules look different than our other function rules, and so here are some examples of a linear function rules. We could have b equals 7 minus a, or d equals 3t, whereas some examples of nonlinear would be that y equals the absolute value of x that we saw earlier, or the area of a square is side squared, or that y equals 5 divided by x. But then we also have that y could equal 4t minus 1, that's a linear function, or that z equals y divided by 2, that's a linear function. And you may be asking yourself, but why is this division problem linear whereas this one is not? This z equals y divided by 2 is the same as arrow there, z equals 1/2 times y. And so because the variable is in the numerator, this is a linear function. Because our variable is in the denominator, that's what makes it a nonlinear function. So let's go to our next example. So we're going to determine whether each of these functions is linear or nonlinear. And so some of you may be at a point where you can look at it and say, okay, well, based off of what we just saw in the last slide, this one is, that one's not. But I'm going to use what we used in Chapter 7 to determine whether we had a linear function, and that is a table. So I'm going to start with the work for A and the fact that y equals x squared. We're going to make a table of points, so x and y, and I'm going to use -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So -2 squared becomes 4. Let's make that actually look like a 4. -1 squared is 1. 0 squared is 0. 1 squared is 1. And 2 squared is 4. So remember, for it to be a linear function, our rate of change has to be the same. Well, from here to here we subtracted 3, and then from 1 to 0, well, that's -1, and then from 0 to 1 we added 1, and then we added 3. So our rate of change is not the same here, so this one is nonlinear. And again, because our rate of change was not the same. And then we have b, so we have y equals 4x. And again, I'm going to make my table, so -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. This provides me with enough points to get an idea on whether or not it is truly a function. And so then I'm going to do 4 times -2, which gives me -8. 4 times -1 gives me -4. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. And so when I look at this we added 4, added 4, added 4, and added 4. So that makes b a linear function. So now moving on to c, I'm going to go ahead and use c up in this empty space up here. So I'm going to make my little table, x and y. We're going to do y equals a -3x. And again, I'm going to use -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And so now I'm going to plug it in. So -3 times -2 is +6. -3 times -1 is a +3. -3 times 0 is 0. -3 times 1 is -3. -3 times 2 is -6. So here I'm subtracting 3, and I subtract 3 every time. And so that makes c linear. So that was c. So now we're going to move on to d. Y equals 8 divided by x. So we have x and y, and negative 2, 0, oops, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. And I'm going to take 8, and I'm going to divide it by negative 2, which will give me a negative 4. And I'm going to take 8 and divide by negative 1, in which I get a negative 8. And I'm going to take 8, and I can't divide it by 0, so this is undefined. It doesn't exist. And then 8 divided by 1 is 8, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. And so here we subtracted 4, but then this here we technically added 16 because this one in the middle doesn't exist, and then from 8 to 4 we subtracted 4. So it's non-linear a lot because we don't have this 0, but it does not change the way it should. So this is a non-linear. And if we were to graph this, where we have 0 actually makes our graph break into 2 graphs. That's what this D looks like in a graph. So now I'm going to go to E, y equals x minus 2. We're going to make our table, x and y, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. And so negative 2 minus 2 is a negative 4, negative 1 minus 2 is a negative 3, 0 minus 2 is a negative 2, 1 minus 2 is a negative 1, and 2 minus 2 is 0. And so from here we are adding 1 each time, and so that means we have a constant rate of change, so E is linear. So again, an easy way to know whether a function rule is linear or nonlinear is to make yourself a table and make sure that you have a constant rate of change. For some of you, you may have noticed, as long as it is of the form y equals mx plus b, then you're also good, and that would be a linear equation as well. So last example, example 3, here we have our real world example. A swimmer burns 88.8 calories per minute while swimming laps. Which function rule describes how many calories C the swimmer burns during any number of minutes m? So this is very much like our chapter 5, proportional relationship, burning calories while cross-country skiing, chapter 7, when we were doing this in, I believe, section 2, and we were burning calories while walking miles. Now we're just a swimmer burning calories while swimming laps. And then the other difference is instead of using X and Y, we're using C for calories and M for minutes. And so what we have here is that we burn 8.8 per minute, which tells me we're multiplying. So here we have addition, so we know it's not that. Multiplication, subtraction, and division. So it has to be that C equals 8.8 m. Meaning that we burn, number of calories burned is equal to the 8.8 calories per minute in our answer here. And that's how simple that is. If you're having to write an equation for these, and just be careful and make sure you're reading what Math Excel is giving you for variables so that you can write the correct variables. And that is it for section 1.